Hmm? हाँ.
Your Lordship, my GST registration has been cancelled after issuance of show cause notice. After which I had filed an appeal, which was dismissed on the ground of delay.
How much delay?
My lord, the registration was cancelled in 2018 and the appeal was preferred in 2021.
59.
Highly
My
delayed.
lord, my ground is that the order of cancellation of registration was not communicated to me because it was communicated to the erstwhile consultant, the person who used the advocate or the tax practitioner who used to file returns
Where
for
is
me.
that impugned order?
Your Lordship, page number 30.
The appellate order.
Yes, Your Lordship. I kindly turn to page number 31. I'll read the relevant para, last para. प्रस्तुत अपील अधिनियम के प्रावधानों के अनुसार कोविड-19 से पूर्व की अवधि से संबंधित है। जीएसटी अधिनियम में पंजीयन रिवोकेशन के संबंध में उचित अधिकारी के समक्ष आवेदन देने की समय सीमा 30 दिन एवं पंजीयन निरस्तीकरण आदेश के विरुद्ध अपील प्रस्तुत करने की समय सीमा 3 माह निश्चित की गई है, जिसे उचित कारणों का उल्लेख होने पर 1 माह की अवधि तक बढ़ाया जा सकता है। इसके अतिरिक्त विधान में विलंब माफी का कोई प्रावधान नहीं दिया गया है, अतः लिमिटेशन एक्ट 1963 के अंतर्गत इस सुविधा का लाभ अपीलार्थी को नहीं मिल सकता। एंड ऑन दिस ग्राउंड माय लॉर्ड द अपील वाज डिसमिस्ड।
What is wrong with it?
My lord, the order for cancellation was not communicated to me, so I couldn't file an appeal in time. It was communicated to the erstwhile consultant.
Oh, that must have been uploaded on the site.
Yes, your lordship.
So once it is uploaded on the site, it is known to everybody, or at least the registered dealer.
Your lordship, but may kindly see the section 107 of the GST Act, my lordship.
That
107 says 3 months plus 1 month. That is
3
all. Beyond that, there is no question of condonation.
After the order has been communicated to him,
So where is
it
your
has to be
application
communicated via.
Where is your application for condonation of delay?
No, we couldn't file the application for condonation of delay in the appeal, your lordship.
So did you explain this in the appeal memo?
My lord, the appeal was filed by the petitioner himself. So, my lord, may kindly turn to page number 19. May I read? Page number 19.
Yes.
They have raised a ground. There's no specific ground, but he has raised some similar ground. निवेदन है कि मैं राजेश मीणा, मेरी फर्म यश कृषि सेवा केंद्र, मेरा जीएससी नंबर सच एंड सच, विगत कुछ समय पूर्व मेरी कोविड-19 के चलते आर्थिक स्थिति ठीक नहीं थी, जिस कारण मेरे वकील से आपसी सामंजस्य सही ना रहा, जिस कारण मुझे किसी प्रकार की कोई जानकारी प्राप्त नहीं हुई। रिटर्न की जानकारी के अभाव होने के कारण मैंने समय पर रिटर्न दाखिल नहीं की, जिस कारण मेरा जीएसटी रजिस्ट्रेशन डिपार्टमेंट द्वारा निरस्त कर दिया गया। महोदय से निवेदन है कि मैं पुनः मेरा व्यवसाय सुचारू रूप से चालू करना चाहता हूं। कृपया मेरा नंबर बहाल करने की कृपा करें, जिससे मैं अपना जीएसटी नंबर पुनः संचालित कर सकूं। Now he has explained the reason that he was not in touch with his consultant. My lord, admittedly, this specific ground that the order for cancellation of registration was not, this was not raised, but my lord, the learned commissioner could have himself taken this ground, because the petitioner himself has filed the appeal and he doesn't have knowledge of the complexities of the law. He simply mentioned that I couldn't file the GST returns on time because he wasn't in touch with his consultant. Therefore, my lord, for this specific point and examination of this point, the appeal, my lord, petition may be allowed and be remanded
Lordship
back
has
to
decided this issue already, my lord, that the issue of 107 has been decided by this bench, my lord. Whereby, my lord, that 18 months delay has not been condoned. By holding that, my lord, the authorities have no power to condone the delay.
My lord, but I also have a judgment, my lord. in
Hmm.
which when the order of cancellation of registration was not communicated to the petitioner.
Hmm.
So this point should have been examined by the appellate authority. This is the judgment, my lord.
No, where does he say that this order was not communicated?
Yes, your lordship. That specific ground is not raised in the appeal, your lordship.
It does
But-
not say so.
Lordship, but the my humble submission is the petitioner doesn't have reasonable knowledge of all the complexities of law, and the appellate authority could have himself examined this issue, whether the show cause notice or whether the order for cancellation of registration was communicated to the petitioner.
Where?
And also, my
31. Anything else?
your lordship, so far as section 107 of the GST is concerned,
Challenge
the
in
word
this-
is used communication.
All right. Challenge in this petition. And the article so and so is to annexure P3 by which the appellate authority under section 107 of GST Act has dismissed the appeal as time barred. Next part. The learned counsel for the appellant does not dispute that the appeal was filed. That after the cancellation of the registration under section 28, 29, 29. The order of cancellation was not communicated
Yes, your lordship.
to the petitioner. Was
Was communicated to his erstwhile consultant.
huh?
Yes, it was communicated in the email ID of his erstwhile consultant. His practitioner who used to file his returns.
Was though communicated to the website of the erstwhile consultant, but not to the petitioner.
Yes, your lordship.
Next part. The provisions of section 107 do not vest the appellate authority to condone delay beyond the period of 3 months, except taking cognizance of appeal, except for a period of 1 month, further period of 1 month. If the appellant was prevented from sufficient cause from presenting the appeal within the period of 3 months. Full stop. The appellate authority is not conferred with any authority, with any jurisdiction to condone any further delay. And therefore, the provisions of the Limitation Act, by implication, get ousted in terms of the apex court decision in the case of so-and-so. Next para. This court has taken a similar view in a recent
This
decision
judgment may also
WP
be
decided on so-and-so, which was based on the Allahabad division bench of the Allahabad High Court in the case of so-and-so.
My lord, I'm also relying on a judgment of this honorable court, my lord, where if the order for cancellation of registration was not communicated to the petitioner, then in that case, his appeal should have been allowed because the limitation wouldn't apply. My lord, this is the judgment.
Right?
Look, this is the Allahabad High Court judgment. My lordship is asking for the citation.
Hmm.
My lord, may kindly see the para 6 of WP 21978 of 19.
No, it is not a case where it was not communicated. It was communicated to your counsel, but you should have got in touch with your counsel. You did not. You were
Kindly
sleeping.
see the para number 6, your lordship. We have heard the learned counsel for the parties, perused the record and gone through the impugned order. We find that the impugned order, there is no consideration to the grounds mentioned in the memo of appeal regarding non-communication of the order to the petitioner and start of period for limitation from the date of communication or the knowledge of the order. Meaning thereby that this particular consideration was not taken into account, that whether the order for communication the order for cancellation of registration was communicated to the petitioner. In my case, it was not communicated.
No, it was communicated to your counsel.
No, my lord, in this
What
petition
happened?
also,
You
the,
said-
it was, it
you-
was,
You have said nothing that your counsel does not exist anymore, he's passed away, and you could not get in touch.
my
There
lord,
has to be
he
some
has raised
explanation.
ground in the appeal that he was not in touch with his consultant, my lord, in the
Well,
page
it
number
was
19, your
that
lordship.
More so the appeal preferred. Order impugned before the appellate authority.
My lord, the petitioner is a basic, and he doesn't have any knowledge with respect to the complexities of law. And for that reason, my lord, my prayer may be considered, and only for this specific point, that whether it was communicated or not, my petition may be remanded back to examine only this specific issue. And my humble prayer, my lordship.
No,
Because, my lord,
we can't
I
make,
admitted,
we have taken a view earlier, we can't take a different view unless.
my lord, this view has been taken in the
Circumstances are
WP, the one I submitted the judgment.
No, that was a case where communication was not there at all.
No, it was a starts from the date of communication of the order passed by the authority. He has drawn attention of this court to memo of appeal, wherein a specific stand was taken that the notice was issued to the appellant through email belonged to erstwhile consultant of the appellant, who did not forward the email to the appellant, nor communicated regarding receipt of such email. In this case also, your lordship, the honorable court considered this point as to whether that the communication was made to the erstwhile consultant, and for that reason, this petition was allowed, your lordship. Oh, it is in my humble opinion. Admittedly, I failed to raise this specific point in my appeal. My humble submission is that the learned commissioner should have considered this point, that whether the show cause notice or the order for cancellation of registration was communicated to me, communicated in terms
how
of
will
a
they-
physical letter or an email.
Unless you raise it, how will they consider?
Your lordship, as I
These are things which are privy to you,
Yes,
not
yes.
to the appellate authority.
admit,
You have to
my lord, but the
make an
petitioner,
averment on an affidavit of all those
he
things.
could not take any help of an expert or a legal expert. He simply filed an appeal through an online form and submitted some additional letters explaining as to why there was a delay and why he couldn't file the returns. Therefore, the learned commissioner could have just taken this view, because it is in the beginning only of section 107. This is my only humble submission, your lordship. Admittedly, he failed to raise this issue. There is no specific point in his appeal. But these are the very basics, your lordship, that the show cause notice or the order of cancellation of registration should have been communicated, because the word is used, communicated, and the communicated implies
No.
that.
So what is the remedy now to you? You will have to file a fresh application for registration.
Yes, your lordship, and my credit, the input tax credit will be surrendered. Once I will obtain a new registration, I will not be able to carry forward my input tax credit, which is available in my earlier, the cancelled number. There I'll be at huge loss, your lordship. And therefore, only for this specific point, that whether it was communicated, and communicated in terms of not as in to upload in the portal. Communication implies where it was communicated to the petitioner through an email or through a physical mode or through by post. It was not done, Your Lordship, in this case. For this specific point, my lord, my petition may be that this appeal, it may be remanded back to examine this specific point to the appellate commissioner before respondent number 2.
So who is for the GST? Who represents the appellant? The respondents.
Yes, ma'am. I'm agreeing. Here, my lord, the question is that 107, my lord, that appellate authority has no power to condone the delay. That is the issue lordship has already decided. My lord, they have to satisfy whether that the filing of appeal, there is a more than 40 or I think, my lord, 45 months delay. Lordship has already held that, my lord, the 18 months delay is not sufficient. Therefore, that the identical petition was dismissed. The same issue was raised, my lord. Here, they have to satisfy, my lord, that there is a more than 40 months or jada hai. And they have not given any sufficient cause before the appellate authority that.
That is, I have admitted that position, my lord, because the
So
petitioner
that is the
doesn't
issue, my
have
lord.
enough knowledge.
107, that
has a-
1071 is the specific bar.
So will the state defend?
Yes, my lord, I am the respond number 2. I am just an advanced copy. मैं आप again.
ठीक है तो आप इंस्ट्रक्शन ले लीजिए.
Hello.
The short point involved in the present petition is as to whether the appellate authority was right in declining to entertain their merits and dismissing the same on the grounds of on the ground that it was barred by limitation. As the learned counsel of petitioner submits that the order of rejection of cancellation of registration was not communicated to the petitioner. Just tell me.
Obliged.